It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries where corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll. Members?
There are 7 members and numerous guests present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare the meeting of the Blue Ridge FFA chapter duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which should now be. Is there any business?
Mr. President,
Tyler.
I move that the Blue Ridge FFA sponsor an agri-science fair for our section members this fall.
second.
It's moved by Tyler and seconded by Addie that the Blue Ridge FFA sponsors an agri-science fair for our section members this fall. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Tyler.
I see that host sponsoring an agri-science fair for our section members this fall would be a great idea because this would help the FFA members learn more about science and agriculture, so I hope you join me in voting up on this motion.
Mr. President,
Sean.
I believe this is a great idea for our FFA chapter to sponsor the agri-science fair for our section, because I think it would be a great idea to get our section more on the map by learning this stuff. Other sections will be very impressed by how much our section will know if we teach stuff like this. So please follow me in voting up on this motion.
Mr. President,
Kelly.
I also think hosting our agri-science fair would be a great idea. I think this would be a great way to bond with the other schools in our section, and agri-science is also something these students could potentially use for their SAE. So I hope you will follow me in voting in favor of this motion.
Mr. President,
Cheyenne.
I think that sponsoring an agri-science fair for our section members this fall is a great idea because we have the space to provide it, and so I hope you follow me in voting up on this motion.
Mr. President,
Addie.
I believe that having an ag science fair for our section members this fall would be a fantastic idea. A lot of our officers do have an agri-science SAE, and this would be a great opportunity for them to show what they know and have an opportunity for them to lead something like this. So I hope you'll join me in voting up on this motion.
Mr. President,
Brianna.
I believe holding an agri-science fair for our section members this fall would be a bad idea. I feel like we're too busy during the fall because of softball, and most of our officers are on the softball team, so we would just not have enough time for that. So I hope you'll follow me in voting down on this motion.
Mr. President,
Kelly.
I rise to a question of privilege.
State your question.
It's hot in here. May I take off my jacket?
Seeing as it's an official dress event, no, you may not.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Brianna.
I move to amend this motion by striking out fall and inserting winter, that the motion now reads, I move that the Blue Ridge FFA sponsor an agri-science fair for our section members this winter.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's a move by Rihanna and second by Cheyenne that we amend the motion by striking out fall and inserting winter. So the motion now reads, the Blue Ridge FFA sponsors an agri-science fair for our section members this winter. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Rihanna.
I believe this was a great idea because like I was saying, during the fall there's softball, so we would not have enough time to do this. During winter there's not as many sports going on, so it would be a better time. So I'll do follow me in voting up on this motion.
Mr. President,
Sean.
I think this is a great idea by amending it to say winter, because not a lot of people are gonna work in the winter, as many of our chapter members do in the fall, so it really couldn't help us if we did in the fall, because a lot of the members would be out working, and if we did in the winter, a lot of them wouldn't be working, and they have the time and space to help us. So please follow me in voting up on this amendment.
Mr. President,
Tyler.
I see amending this motion would be a great bad idea because the members that go to the fair will not be able to use what they learned from the fair in the middle of winter. So I hope you join me in voting down on this amendment.
Mr. President,
Addie.
I think that having the agri-science fair in the winter would be a bad idea. During the winter, we have our marching band season, and a lot of our officers are in marching band. It requires a lot of effort and a lot of practicing. So I hope you'll join me in voting down on this motion.
Mr. President,
Cheyenne.
I think that moving it to winter is a bad idea because in the winter it's too cold to host it outside. We unfortunately do not have the space inside anywhere to host the agri-science fair, so I hope you follow me in voting down on this amendment.
Mr. President,
Kelly.
I also think amending this would be a bad idea because during winter we start working on our banquet plans, and that's just a really busy time of year for us, and I don't think we would be able to fit this event in. So I hope you will follow me in voting down on this motion.
Mr. President,
Sean.
I rise to parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
What vote does this motion need to pass?
Majority vote to pass.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will now vote on the amendment. It requires majority vote to pass. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no.
no.
The noes have it, we are not amending the motion. We are back on the main motion that the Blue Ridge FFA sponsors an agri-science fair for our section members this fall. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Cheyenne.
I move to postpone this motion to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Is there a
Second.
It's moved by Cheyenne and seconded by Rihanna that we postpone this motion to our next regular scheduled meeting. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote to pass. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Cheyenne.
I think that postponing this motion to our next regular scheduled meeting is a great idea because we have plenty of time to plan it, and I don't think that any of us in the right headspace to talk about this. So I hope you follow me in voting up on this motion.
Mr. President,
Kelly.
I also think postponing this motion would be a great idea. I think with more opinions from our fellow members at our next meeting that we will have, I think we will be able to make a better decision on this motion. So I hope you will follow me in voting in favor of this motion.
Mr. President,
Addie.
I believe that postponing this motion would be a bad idea. We've had the installation of our new officers, and this would be discussed during our May meeting, which is still with the old officers. So our new officers wouldn't probably know what we were going to be doing. So I hope you'll join me in voting down on this motion.
Mr. President,
Sean.
I believe this would be a terrible idea to postpone this to our next regular scheduled meeting, seeing as we have all of our members here right now and not a lot more on the agenda, so I believe we could just get this done right here, right now. So please follow me in voting down on this.
Mr. President,
Rihanna.
I believe postponing this would be a bad idea. Next meeting, there will be a softball game, so a lot of people will be late to that meeting, so there just won't be as many people. So I'll do follow me in voting down on this motion.
Mr. President,
Tyler.
I see postponing this motion would be a bad idea because this motion is higher ranking in our importance and we need to get this done right now. So I hope you join me in voting down on this motion.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will vote on postponing this motion to our next regular scheduled meeting. This motion requires a majority vote to pass. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no.
No.
The noes have it, we are not postponing the motion. We are back on the main motion that the Blue Ridge FFA sponsors an agri-science fair for our section members this fall. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will now vote on the main motion that the Blue Ridge FFA sponsors an agri-science fair for our section members this fall. This motion requires a majority vote to pass. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please please say no.
No.
The ayes have it, we are having a agri-science fair this fall. Mr. Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
I have none, Mr. President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should now come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn the meeting of the Blue Ridge FFA chapter. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, courteous to everyone. Above all, honest and fair in the given life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare the meeting adjourned. Please rise for questions.
All righty, ladies and gents, we will start with you, Mr. President. If a motion is postponed to the next chapter meeting, when in the order of business would that motion be brought back for consideration?
Unfinished business.
Okay. Madam Sentinel, your question has two parts. If the motion to amend is applied to an amendment on a recess, what is this amendment called?
Secondary amendment?
And can this amendment be discussed?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Treasurer, as treasurer, what are two duties of your office outlined in the official FFA manual?
To keep record of receipts and disbursements and to hold financial records.
Okay. Madam Reporter, if an organization holds regular meetings on a monthly basis, for how long could a motion be postponed if the motion postponed definitely is adopted?
Within a timely interval.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, if you are the chair and a member rises to a parliamentary inquiry and asks to adjust the volume of the microphone, how would you proceed?
You would say this is not germane to the conversation.
Okay. Madam Advisor, in addition to the 6 officers included in opening ceremonies, what are 2 additional officers that a chapter could elect according to the official FFA manual?
A historian and a parliamentarian.
Okay. And Madam Vice President, your question also has 2 parts. What is the purpose of the motion question of privilege?
To ask a question regarding a member's rights.
And is a vote required to adopt a previous question? Excuse me. Is a vote required to adopt a question of privilege?
No, the chair rules.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gents, you can leave your cards behind, take your pens and pencils with you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, you too.